Welcome to this match preview, Tottenham v Manchester United in just 24 hours. I've got three big Spurs fans with me to preview this game. Jamie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. I've also got Alex. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. And I've got Brian, the chairman from Los Angeles Spurs. Brian, how are you?
Fantastic, Chris. Nice to see you all.
And you? Jamie, let's come to you first. The Premier League came back yesterday. Of course, Sheffield United drew 0-0 at Aston Villa and the Gooners got thumped 3-0 by Manchester City. What have you made of the return of the Premier League, in particular with Tottenham coming back tomorrow against Manchester United?
Well, obviously I'm looking forward to having a bit of football. It just feels like forever since we last played a game. I think it's over 120 days or something. So it's kind of nice to have it back. I'm disappointed that we can't be there. You know, obviously being a season ticket holder, aching for that first full season in the new stadium, which we still haven't had yet. So it's just that's frustrating. But it's going to be, it's going to be good to watch us. It's nice to have almost a fully fit squad as well. So kind of excited, but also, I just hope that we've had some time to reflect and they've got some motivation back and they kind of they bring their game a bit. Fingers crossed.
Jamie, seeing the return of the Premier League though yesterday with empty stadiums, what did you make of that? Because I know you can go on Sky Sports and you can get this crowd noise, but I watched both of the games just with the natural noise. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. I mean, for me, football, the fans are part of the whole experience. It almost feels like without the fans, then it can't really have the true game. It's not the same. We're half of it. Yes, we're there to watch them play, but without us getting behind them, without they feed off us, we feed off them. It's just a whole experience. And obviously being, having been to the stadium quite a bit, it felt so strange, eerie. It just didn't feel right. Definitely not.
Alex, what have you made of the last 24 hours of football? Of course, the Premier League is back. Tottenham are back tomorrow. Are you excited?
I think it had to come back for the fact that it's money at the end of the day. I think it's very difficult. It's a very difficult question, that one, because I think with everything that's going on, I'm not going to say too much what's going on because I think that's another conversation. But I think it had to come back to the fact that the money side of things, clubs were going to go under otherwise, wasn't it? Really. So I think it's important for that situation to be sorted. I'm going to talk about what I feel about tomorrow's game with you later with the other questions as well. But I think it's good. It was strange, but it's just the way it is at the moment, isn't it? The current situation. I'm hoping that it will improve and we can go back into stadiums, because one thing I do thank goodness is that I had the chance to go into the stadium and see games. See the last couple of games, because this was my first season watching Tottenham, and I'm actually thankful that I actually had the chance to go and see Tottenham play in that fantastic stadium. Because I think now, looking back now, we're not going to have a chance of maybe not going back there. Maybe this season and maybe parts of next season as well. We don't know. So yeah.
Do you feel excited though, Alex, the fact that Tottenham are back tomorrow with the likes of Harry Kane back?
Again, I've got mixed feelings about it. I'm interested to see how we play tomorrow, because it's been good and bad over the time we've not been playing. Admittedly, things that I've not been happy with what I've seen, things that I've been, it's been interesting. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting tomorrow. Very interesting tomorrow, especially Man United, because if we played the game before the pandemic, we might have lost. We would have maybe lost really badly, because they were playing really well, Man United, weren't they? Now it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, because a lot of things can change, because all that time off, people chat. Things might have changed, form might have changed, people's minds might have changed, so things might have changed. So that's it really.
Brian, how are the LA Spurs feeling about the Premier League coming back for Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow?
Well, I think there's a lot of mixed emotions with it on our end, because obviously we're not there in the ground, but we go to the Greyhound pub every game. Sometimes we'll have as many as 200, 220 people in the pub. Tomorrow we're only allowed 30 in the pub because of social distancing in the city of Los Angeles and the state guidelines. So it's going to be a bit weird. It's probably going to be a third of what we'd normally have for a weekday game. And it's just, I think it's a lot of mixed emotions, really. I think me personally, I'm sort of like 50-50 on it. I don't know. I'm not that excited, to be honest with you. On the surface, I have to be excited because we're coming back and everything, but really I'm not that. I think they should have just scrapped the season. But for having seen what the last 24 hours was like with the first two games, I thought it was like a practice game. It was just so lacking in emotion, and without the fans there, I just thought it's kind of boring, really, for those two. But obviously, we have to get pumped up for Tottenham. But it wasn't great yesterday, was it? Especially with the controversy on the goal and all that for Sheffield United. It was, I think there's a bit of on our end, like people coming back to watch the games. It's probably a bit of apathy, I think. I don't know, and a little bit of anticipation. I mean, a little bit of COVID worry, really. Because I think a lot of people I've spoken to here have said we don't feel comfortable going out to the pub to watch the game yet because of the COVID is still a real thing here anyway. So.
How do you think the atmosphere will be in the pub tomorrow then, Brian, with the social distancing and the fact that there'll be no fans at all? It will be a nothing atmosphere, really.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. It really is. I'm not usually this sort of down about it. I'm not down, but I'm just not that positive about it. I think it's going to be a little strange. People won't be allowed to be packed in and jumping up and down and chucking beer and high-fiving or hugging, each other when we hopefully score and win the game. But it's just going to be a bit muted, I think. I think the first two games, which we're only having, the pub's only allowing 30 people in the pub, as opposed to, 100 plus for those first two games. I think it'll be a bit of a test as well for the pub and the fans to see what it's like coming back to see him in a different world, a different environment, really. Bit bizarre. So a little bit of apprehension and anticipating some good stuff and a bit of excitement, I suppose, but a little bit muted, I must admit.
Jamie, the Tottenham Hotspur Twitter put out some pictures earlier this evening of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium being decorated with all of the banners and the flags. It's going to be strange tomorrow when the players walk out and play Manchester United. In particular, the form that Tottenham were in back in March. Of course, you were out there for that Leipzig away game, very poor match. The Burnley away game, the Norwich FA Cup game. What are you expecting from tomorrow's match?
Well, if they carry on playing like they did, not much, to be honest. We weren't great against United earlier in the season either, and they're going to need to kind of be properly motivated. I mean, everyone's going to be rusty. It is going to feel like a training match. I think the first couple of games for everybody are going to feel a little bit, slower, or that everyone's going to sort of find their feet a little bit. I think with last night, City kind of, sort of took over mainly because of the sending off, but they passed the ball so well, and you sort of look at them and you think, we used to be able to pass like that, and if we were playing like that before the break, I wouldn't have any issues. But I just think there's bound to be a lot of rusty kind of legs out there, and so I'm a bit like Brian says, it'll feel like a training game. And without the fan, I mean, for me, going to the game and going to the match, it's about the whole experience. It's about getting the train down from Bedfordshire where I am, and then getting on the Underground and Seven Sisters and walking down the high road, and it's just, that's what I'm going to miss, the kind of build up before, obviously the game itself and the post-match stuff. We're meeting up with friends and catching up with people and, chatting to you about the game. And I'm going to miss all of that more in some ways than kind of the game itself, because Spurs were playing so bad before, and it was, it was getting a bit painful. So tomorrow, I'm hoping that they've had Jose's had a bit more time to get them to sort of think about how he wants them to play, and hopefully they'll start to kind of find their feet under him a bit more.
Alex, let's come to you. Sorry, I think my phone was ringing.
No worries.
Alex, let's come to you. Kane, Son and Sissoko all back for Tottenham. It was very doom and gloom back in March, but surely with these players back, and Jose Mourinho has confirmed today that all three of them will start.
I'm got to be honest with you, Chris. I think this whole thing with Kane, Son and Sissoko, I'm happy at the back, but I think it's becoming a bit of a sad violin tune. I need to play a violin for him, because the amount of times I kept on hearing it, like when Kane was out and Son was out and Sissoko was out. I mean, I thought it was absolutely terrible what he said after the Leipzig game. He said, "I'd rather have that sub bench than having our sub bench." And I was sitting there thinking, okay, you're saying that right now. Okay, what are the players thinking? What are all those players thinking? And then the whole thing about Ndombele, I mean, I just thought that was just shocking, absolutely shocking. I was livid after what he said about Ndombele. Fair enough, he hasn't been playing very well, but I just think, for me, you've got a squad. Like I said to you after the Wolves game, he's got a squad. Pochettino's like that. Guardiola's like that. Klopp's like that. When you've got a squad, you've got that squad to play with. That's it. He's very, very lucky right now that he's had a pre-season with them, because I can tell you this for a fact, Pochettino never got a pre-season with all this squad, because every single time, every pre-season, it was like we had to buy somebody at the end of the transfer window. So like he always had a squad. And the thing after that World Cup, remember the World Cup when all the England players came late back? He only had 2 weeks with them, literally 2 weeks with them. Like he didn't moan whatsoever. And all I've heard from Jose is that, oh, I haven't got a squad. Oh, I haven't got Kane. I haven't got this. I haven't got that. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm not being funny, but you can't keep on doing that. And it's like, you've got to learn. The best managers do not talk about their squads like that. They just keep it in-house. You know what I mean? And I just think, for me, we'll have to see what happens. I think he's maybe has some humble pie. I'm hoping Jose Sacramento may have had an effect, because for me, I think he's the main man for me that is gonna be helped Jose become a success at Tottenham than Mourinho. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just getting a bit fed up of hearing about Kane, because then it's becoming like it's a Kane team. You know what I mean? And it's not. It shouldn't be like that.
But yeah. Surely, Alex, when you've got such quality in Harry Kane and Sonny, where were the goals going to come from? We really were lacking goals in those, those last few games. So when the likes of them two come back, and Sissoko, we missed him, hugely. When they come back, it's going to be giving the team a huge lift.
Yeah, it's going to give you a huge lift. What I'm saying is that you don't. When you're saying that, when you're saying that, Kane's not playing, and we can't do anything without Kane, what is it saying to your position? It's mental. That's what I said to you. It's a mental game right now. You see, because the thing is, I don't think he's helped it especially with Moira as well, because Moira, for me, what they kept on doing with Moira, kept on booting that field to him. So he's kept on jumping up and down and then running, and he's just knackered all the time. Birdwin, every single time booting that field. So it's just like, they're not playing to their strengths. I admit that they should have maybe got a striker in January, but that's his fault. They should have pushed on that. If they were that desperate for it, they should have just got the striker. Whether it was a rubbish striker, just get a striker. But I just think it's just too much of this, we need Kane, because Kane, we can't do anything with Kane. We need Son, because we don't need anything with Son. That was not the attitude that Pochettino had. You see, he never had that attitude, because when Guardiola said it's a Kane team, he'd taken offence by that. He said, no, it's not a Kane team. It's a good squad. You know, I don't like hearing that. You know, and it's mental, and I don't think you should be talking like that. You see, so, but for me, I just think Tottenham fans talk like this anyway, because I think they're just conditioned because they hear it from Mourinho and then they're listening to him and think, oh, let's copy what he says. But it shouldn't be like that. It's about a squad. That's it.
Alex, are you not a Mourinho fan?
It's not about Mourinho. It's not about Mourinho. It's just that you know what I feel. I think it was the worst mistake ever to sack Pochettino. It was the worst mistake. And I'm going to stick to that. And he will get time because it's Levy's man. It's Levy's man because he wanted him. He's been wanting him for a long time. I mean, Alistair Gold's already said it. So, you know, it's his man. So he will get a season. You will get the season next season. You will get the season. But I just think, and I'm not happy with it because I think we made a big mistake getting rid of Pochettino. For me, Pochettino was on the same level as Klopp and Guardiola. For me, because I saw qualities that I think Klopp is the same as Pochettino, but he just had money. He just got money, you know, and he changed his coaching staff at the right time. I think Pochettino could have changed his staff, or you know, had the rebuild that he needs to get to just to make it happen. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I just think, it's not about that. I just think I don't think Mourinho's right for us, no. But I do feel that the whole thing with Jose Sacramento, hopefully he's the key man for me. Because he knows he's playing the same way that Pochettino used to play, the pressing football. He's the sort of person that likes to develop people. He's very attention to detail. I think he's the key person to be successful at Mourinho at the moment. This is the assistant.
Brian, give me some positivity, please. With the likes of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son back, what are they going to do for Tottenham?
Well, I think they're going to make a huge difference. Personally, I think, like you said, like you guys have said, that it wasn't great, was it, without the three of them? I'm more excited actually about Sissoko because, you know, some of those runs he makes through the middle could really change what we've been seeing. And, you know, if Kane, I don't know, my only concern about Kane is he looks, there's a lot of people have said it, or people have mentioned it in the media, that he looks a little, what's the politically correct word to say? He's a little heavier than he was, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the shirts he's wearing, but hopefully he's completely fit. It sounds like he's ready to go. But, you know, Sonny is always good for a goal here and there, isn't he? I think the three of them is going to be huge. As Alex said, more on his own wasn't really cutting it as far as I'm concerned either. He's like running around all over the place, and nobody really there to back him up with what we saw. I don't feel the same way about Mourinho. I don't know if he's going to take us where we want to be either, but I do feel that Poch had, and don't get me wrong, I love Poch. I think he was the best manager we've had in decades. But I feel like there was something missing there at the end, the final get us across the line. Just felt like he was just not quite the person to get us all the way. And I don't know if Jose is, but I don't think Poch is quite as good as Klopp and Guardiola, but very close. But anyway, I think we're gonna, it's gonna be good tomorrow. So with guys coming back, with the exception of, what is it, Lo Celso probably. Other than that, I think we're pretty ready to go, right?
Brian, Jose Mourinho come out and said today that Tanguy Ndombele, he now understands what we need from him even more. He really has had a mediocre season in his first season at the club. Jose Mourinho, during this lockdown period, has actually been knocking on his door, going out for runs with him. Do you think that we will see an improvement in him?
I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's got so much skill. Actually, a lot of skill that we've been missing in a player in that position. I just think my impression of him was he needed more time to adapt to the Premier League. I think maybe the French league was slower pace and he wasn't used to the aggression. I don't know what you guys think, but I think in terms of skill, and ability. He can score goals. He just needed some maybe some more time in game time in the league and get used to it. Maybe bulk up a little bit in the gym or whatever they do these days. But yeah, I think he's a phenomenal player. Just needs. He's not. I'm not one of the people that said we should get rid of him or any of that sort of stuff. I think he's great, really. I think he just needs time and needs time to adapt to what the league's like, really. What do you guys think?
Jamie, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think, well, if he hasn't changed his kind of attitude or he's got a bit fitter in the last, 12 weeks, then something's wrong, really. And if he continues to play as lethargic and maybe as, he appeared to be quite disinterested at times. And it was like, you just think, come on, you're on the pitch. You're one of the most gifted players on the pitch. You just think if he had that extra half a yard, it can make all the difference. So I'm hoping that he has, they've used this time to kind of go, right, how do we get to, the best out of Ndombele and, all the players that weren't kind of putting shifts in and the system that Jose wants them to play. You just think if they haven't done that, then it's been a real missed opportunity to try and get some cohesion and some organisation behind the scenes. I know it must have been difficult for them, all separated. But you see videos, I know Ronaldo's like the PR expert, but you see the videos of him and the amount of training he's been putting in. And you just think, you don't really see, I know the other guys are not really kind of that sort of prolific on social media. All the ones we've been seeing are like Serge Aurier getting done, as opposed to him actually kind of working really hard and he just going for his haircut and things. You just think, what are you doing? Yeah, so I hope that they've used the time as productively as I would have done.
Jamie, I'm glad you mentioned Serge Aurier because if I'm honest, since Jose Mourinho's arrival, I actually think that we've seen a slight improvement in Serge Aurier. Would you go along with that?
I totally agree. He, for some reason, Jose loves him, and maybe that's what he needed to kind of get him. He seems to be a bit more consistent. Well, he's not almost always in the team. I think he'll start tomorrow. He's kind of Jose's go-to right back, isn't he? So, yeah, hopefully he continues pushing it on and we can get some balls in the box and, Kane and Sonny will be, or certainly more so Kane will be on the end of a couple. And without Dele Alli tomorrow, that'll be, it's going to be Serge Aurier targeting Kane, isn't it? It's got to be, unless Jose's changed his tactics in 12 weeks, that's absolutely what he's going to try and do, isn't he? But, we'll see.
Alex, let's come to you. How confident are you that Tottenham will have Champions League football next season? Can Tottenham get a top 4 finish or even finish in the top 5? Because if Manchester City do go out of the Champions League and that ban does remain, then 5th place would be good enough. Are you confident that we would get Champions League football next season?
I don't feel confident in. No, I don't feel confident now. No, I would say we'll have to see how it goes tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be very important to see how it works during that time that they had together.
It's a must win, isn't it? Must win. It's a must win.
Must win. Yes, it is a must win. So we have to see what happens. As I say, it's so difficult to say. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they react to being in a stadium with no fans. And it's a lot of things mentally as well, how they're going to deal with it as well. That's another thing as well about the game. We just have to see what happens. I think that's the thing. I don't think we can really speculate at the moment until we see what how it plays out tomorrow. To be honest with you, but for me, I'm not as so confident with what is in place at the moment with, especially Jose. I'm not as confident with him than I was with other people, the other manager, unfortunately. So I don't know at the moment, but it is helpful to have the squad that we've got at the moment: Kane, Song and everybody else. I think it's very helpful to have those players at the moment, definitely. And it'd be interesting to see how Ndombele plays as well. It'd be very interesting to see how he plays, because I think he might be key to that game. And also Sissoko as well playing as well, because with Aurier definitely playing tomorrow, which I'm not really happy about, he'll be covering him all the time. You know what he's like, you know? Every single time he goes up the field, it's like Sissoko's always there, isn't he? So, you know.
They're very good friends, actually.
Yeah, no. Sissoko's very good. There's a lot of people, wasn't he? So.
Brian, let's come on to you. Stephen Bergwijn said yesterday that if Tottenham didn't get in the Champions League, then it is so important that Tottenham Hotspur Football Club do get European football, which would mean the Europa League. How would you feel about that if Tottenham got a Europa League place for next season?
Well, it's a bit... Sorry, go ahead.
Go.
It's
Brian?
A bit like the runners-up prize, isn't it? It's a bit like the runners-up booby prize. But to be honest, I'd rather have UEFA Cup on a Thursday than nothing. I don't see the point of having nothing. Maybe if you play less games, but it's more enjoyable to go out during the week and see another game. To me personally, I would take it over finishing eighth for sure. And I think the next 3 games are going to be so key for us. Games that are going to be like a cup final now, and I think we just have to go out and put our best foot forward and see if we can, get there. I'm not that confident of us finishing top 4 or 5 either. It's a bit of it's a big uphill push in my opinion. There's a lot of points between us and Chelsea, and not only us winning games, we've got to hope they lose and drop points, don't we? So, and I'm not confident, but hoping that we'll get there. But I'd take Thursday night anyway, to answer your question. Definitely.
But if Spurs win tomorrow, we would go into 6th place on goal difference, overtaking Wolves and Sheffield United, which would then put Tottenham only 4 points away from top 4. Surely, if Tottenham got a result tomorrow, surely we have all got to hope and wish that does happen, that we just carry on winning. That's the main focus. Just carry on winning, get your results, and hope that the teams around you do drop points.
Is that for me or
that's
generally?
For you, Brian?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see your point. I think the trouble is, I think that there are teams around us that are, from what I saw earlier, until the pandemic shut everything down, I think there are teams that were showing that they were probably as good, if not better than us. And that's a problem. I think when the Wolves and the Sheffield Uniteds are up there with us and possibly playing better than we were, as well as Man United and Chelsea, sort of forget about Arsenal. But I think it's, we just got to keep doing what we need to do to get there. But I'm not that confident. I just felt like at that point when the season started, there was some really good teams around us, and whether we deserve it or not, I think that will, end up being how hard we push for these last 9 games. Really, that will show. That will tell us how good we are.
Jamie, what are you expecting tomorrow night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8:15 p.m. kickoff, when those players come out and the referee is just about to blow his whistle? What are you expecting from the game?
I think it'll be. It'll be tough. I think it'll be hard for the players to kind of hit the ground running. But I'm sure Jose he'll be keen to get one back over Ollie after losing up at Old Trafford earlier in the season, and I think he'll be keen to try and show people, Jose himself, that what he's been doing and his methodology will be trying to rub off on the players. I just hope that I just want them to be organised more than anything, and don't lose the game. If we lose the game, then I think may as well kind of forget top 4. I think that's going to be really difficult. But I'm kind of expecting them to turn up. I just got this feeling they're going to turn up. I don't know. I think why shouldn't they? They're all itching to play. Everyone's had a break. Kane's been out since January. I just think they're kind of dying. I just hope that nothing. I just hope nothing serious happens to anyone in the first sort of 15, 20 minutes when they get sort of try too hard. But I just remember the game when Eriksen scored in the first 90 seconds at Wembley. You just want that kind of start, just to give all the fans to go, right, we're back now. We've had this break. We've had time to work out what it was, and it was whether it was fatigue or the squad or Jose, kind of players not unsettled. You just hope that they've had time to kind of figure some of that psychology stuff out and their fitness, and that they just kind of come out the blocks tomorrow. I really want that. I can't say I'm expecting it, and it might be after 10 minutes that we just revert to type. But I'm hoping that they come out and go at them. That's all we can do, and then sort of put them on the back foot.
We as fans, though, Jamie, we need this lift, don't we? The fact that we've had these 3 months off, we've got our best players coming back. They're all going to start in the game tomorrow. But us fans, we do need that lift to just give us something, because those last few games that Spurs played were very, very poor. Not only the performances, but the results. And, of course, going out of the FA Cup and the Champions League as well. It's never easy going out of cup competitions. But we need that huge lift, don't we?
We do. And it was strange because we obviously had that really good win against City. And I still don't know how we won that game, because it was just bonkers. And, City deserved to get more out of it. But we had that win, and then we just seemed to tail off. And it was almost like they couldn't, whether it was a mental thing or what, and obviously the injuries as well, whether it was fatigue, but they just didn't seem to have the ability to kind of go, right, we just keep going now. And whether it was tiredness or what, I don't know. But we do need that lift, because it was poor. And under Poch to start the season, it was poor. We losing to Wolves at home, and we shouldn't have lost that game. But they just seemed to tail off, and whether it was the motivation or draw, I don't know what it was. It just didn't feel very good at all. And you just think they've had time. Hopefully now some of those, please, just kind of hoping some of those issues have been ironed out. And they can come out, and we definitely need a lift. Definitely.
Alex, what are you expecting from tomorrow night? Are you expecting a Tottenham win?
Come
on, Alex, give me some positive. Come on.
Chris, I love you, Chris. No, seriously, we have to wait and see what happens. I mean, I think we don't know, Chris. We don't know until we see tomorrow. Until we after the game tomorrow, I think we have to see what happens. I think it's going to be very interesting games, because the first 2 games is Man United and West Ham. So you know what West Ham are like. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be very, very interesting. He's had time to talk about his ideas with the players. So this is the chance now for him, to show, for the players to see whether it has actually worked or it's drilled in or anything like that. As I said, I think again, I can't stress how much this is very important, because Alistair Gold said it, and I think a lot of other people have said it. I think it's just going to be interesting to see whether Jose Sacramento has had an effect on the team. That's the person I think is going to have the effect on the team for Tottenham at the moment. For me, I think I look at Mourinho. He reminds me of Alex Ferguson, because I look at Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson had that long reign as Man United manager, and he changed his coaching staff throughout that time frame. And throughout that time frame, when he changed that the coaching staff, the team changed, and it developed, and things changed, and players changed, and everything else, and the philosophy changed. And I just think with Jose, when he was at Man United, he had this coaching staff, and it didn't really work. It was, you could see that Ferreira was a bit of an angry man. I think they were kind of winding each other up. I think Jose Sacramento's got a different side to things about things, you see. So I'm just hoping to see a little bit of a different side to it. I think that's what I'm hoping at the moment, because it needs to change. He will have to change if he's going to cope. If he's going to compete with people like Klopp and Guardiola, who are very much coaching sort of play and team, coaching sort of managers. He needs that sort of philosophy, and I think that's Jose Sacramento's thing about it. See, so because you've got players like Skip, the left back, I can't remember his name now, that need to, that he needs to cut, to help along the way. And he's got Fernandez as well, who I still don't really understand why we brought him, to be honest with you. And there's a few players there that, like we said, the Celso, who for me, I know he played really well, but I think that's more to do with him than Jose for me, because I think that's the sort of player he is. He's a very hard-working player. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about predictions of results, I mean, I'm hoping for a 2-1 result if we're talking about that. 2-1 win, Last minute.
You hear all that negativity and then you say we're going to win.
That's not negativity. It's just the truth, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Alex, going back to your point, talking about Alex Ferguson and Jose Mourinho, they are both born winners. They have both been there and got the T-shirt and won every single trophy in the land. Now, surely Jose Mourinho, and you know, and everyone on this channel knows, my love for Mauricio Pochettino. I was absolutely devastated when he went. But when he did go, I had a chat with a number of friends, and they said, who would you like as Tottenham manager next? And I said, Jose Mourinho. And they went, you're having a laugh. And I said, I won a trophy. We haven't won a trophy since 2008, and that was a League Cup. So surely Jose Mourinho is the man, been there, got the T-shirt, won the lot. Surely he is the man to take Tottenham forward and put a few trophies in the cabinet, is he not?
Well, if I've asked the question back to you, would you be happy with just a Carabao Cup?
Right now, I'd be happy with any trophies, yes, because I believe that when the players have got that winning mentality, and take players for example like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Dele Alli, Hugo Lloris, great players at the club, and at the moment they have won no trophies at Spurs. I think that is dreadful. And that's another thing that made me feel very sad, in the fact that Mauricio Pochettino left Spurs without winning a single trophy, even a League Cup. I think it's really, really sad that happened. But surely Mourinho is the man to take these competitions seriously and put a few trophies in the cabinet very soon.
Yeah, but Chris, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. The whole thing with Pochettino, I think he just didn't have the support that he should have got. I mean, Paul Mitchell. I mean, you hear the thing about the sporting director, which I think is quite a laugh for me. I mean, why would you want a sporting director when you don't support him? We had the best sporting director in Paul Mitchell, who's doing really well at the moment. He's gone to Leipzig. Now he's going to Monaco now because he's so highly rated, and he got us some very good players. Okay, and he was so highly rated. He went from Southampton to Tottenham, and he's the player person that got some very good players. And the thing that makes me laugh at the moment is that people keep on saying, we need to spend loads of money. We need to spend loads of money. Look at Leicester. How much money have they spent? Have they spent a lot of money? No. And look at them. And they're saying that Rodgers is a very good manager. I don't think he's any better than Pochettino. Do you think he's a good? I'm not here to be a spokesperson for Pochettino here, by the way. I'm just trying to put it out there at the moment. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that Mourinho needs to change the way that he's thinking at the moment, because he's not going to compete with teams managers like Guardiola and Klopp. Klopp is a person that people love to play for because he gives people confidence. He knows how to do things mentally and physically. And that's what it's all about now. The game's changed now. It's not about physical anymore, just about physical. It's about mental. Players need to be mentally.
Are people judging Mourinho too quickly? Because he's been in charge at the club for 7 months, 3 months of which that we've had lockdown and we haven't played any games. So really 4 months as manager without his stamp of authority of his players. He's inherited this squad. So surely we have to give him a little bit of time, don't we?
I can say that, but I think with Jose, I think it's 3-year cycles, isn't it? Really. So I think it's not the harshness of it. It's just that I think it's just he will get a season, Chris. He will get the season. He will get another. He'll get as much time as he has, because, as I said, it's Levy's man. Levy wanted him. He's been wanting him for such a long time, Anthony Gold said it, and I think lots of other journalists have said it as well. This is his man. He wants him. He really wanted him, so he's happy to have him. So he will get the time and the time to make it right for Tottenham, and give him a chance to win the trophy. Definitely. My point is that I don't know. After a couple of years, I mean, what is he going to do? Because all I'm hearing is William's going to come. Would you want William in our club? When what's his motivation to come to Tottenham? To come to play for Jose? He's not coming to play for Tottenham, isn't he? So it's just I don't know at the moment. But we have to. Yeah, he does. He's going to get time. So I'm going to support Tottenham and support him because he's a Tottenham manager. So I'm going to support him because he's going to be here for definitely a season. Definitely, I'm sure of it. I'm definitely sure of it.
Brian, let's come to you. I think we're going off on a manager tangent here, but let's go back to the game tomorrow. What are you expecting from the game? Are you expecting the 3 points?
I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1-goal decider. Maybe a 2-1 or a 1-0 kind of game. I don't see it being a high-scoring game. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just. I think it's going to be tough game. They're a good team. We're good with this current squad. I just think it's going to be a close match. Hopefully the players are motivated just to be playing, because it's like we've all said, there's not going to be much motivation coming from the crowd, is there? Or lack of. But one thing I just wanted to mention on that whole Jose thing, I think it shows to me the whole story of him going over to Ndombele's house or whatever he did, and trying to get him out to training or whatever. What manager does that? That was, to me, that was quite amazing and admirable that he would go out and do something like that. I just thought, it must be because I'm sure he's got better things to do with his time than go knocking on players' doors and getting them out, kicking the ball around or whatever they actually did. It just shows to me that he's very committed to this club at the moment. But as for tomorrow, I think
he wears the pajamas, as he said, and he also stayed in a house full of the other coaching staff. So he was very much Tottenham Hotspur while everyone was in lockdown. He carried on. He was watching videos. He was analysing the players. He wanted players to go out running with him. So he has been working very, very hard these last few months.
Yeah, and as for tomorrow's game, I think I'm quietly confident that we'll win it, seeing as we have sort of a home ground advantage. But it's going to be tough either way. Wasn't that happy with the Norwich City practice game result, if you can call that as a result. Not a great confidence booster, but I think we'll win tomorrow. Just the fact that we're raring to go, really. Hopefully, anyway. I think we'll win.
Jamie, let's come to you. How do you expect Jose Mourinho to line up tomorrow? What 11 players? Who is the best 11 players for Spurs?
Well, I think he will go, obviously, Lloris, Aurier, and Alderweireld, Sanchez, Davies. Whether he puts Ndombele out in the start or not, I don't know. I think he would have gone with Lo Celso if he was fit. So I'm going to go Ndombele, Sissoko, and it'll probably be Winks, won't it? In the midfield as well. And then it's Bergwijn, Kane, and Sonny. Is that it? So is that 11?
Yeah.
Sissoko, yeah. And that's a pretty good lineup to me. I just hope he doesn't go with Dyer. I think he's kind of, I don't know if he seems to, we all love Eric Dyer, but Jose loves him, seems to love him more than the fans do. So the last couple of, the Norwich game when he was at the back, was it a Norwich game? I can't remember if it was a Norwich game. He just looked completely out of position. But I've read that he's looking fit and strong. So if he does play, who knows? But I actually wonder whether the crowd or lack of crowd might help some of the players that were struggling for confidence. And, they seem to, obviously the atmosphere in the stadium hasn't been great for large parts of the season. And I just wonder if the fact there's no fans there kind of not adding to the pressure, and it takes away some of it. I just wonder if they'll play a bit more relaxed tomorrow. And maybe we'll see a bit of the older Tottenham. I don't know. I just, like Alex is saying, you just don't know who's going to turn up and how it's going to pan out. But I'm hoping that they go for it.
Jamie,
I was just going to say, Eric won't have anyone to fight with in the crowd tomorrow.
Exactly.
Jamie, do you think Jose Mourinho will deliver at Spurs?
I don't see why not. If he gets the backing of bringing in the players that he thinks, he's never going to get millions like he's had at every other club. So he has to be creative. He's getting paid an awful lot of money. I do wonder if some of the players kind of look at him and think, well, he's getting paid more than me. And that kind of, I just wonder in today's modern game whether players just resent that a little bit. I don't know. They need their egos massaged. They have to be kind of told they're the best. And it's like the fact that he's getting paid more to kind of deliver. I just wonder if that's why we've seen maybe some players like Ndombele maybe not try as hard. But I don't see why not. What I miss is the style of football that we played under Poch. I don't miss Poch because the games last season, I mean, he's papered over the cracks of no investment for years. So, he did his best with the club, with the players that he had, but I think it was time for him to go. Whether Jose is the right man to replace him, I don't know. So it was nice to see them make a change and say, right, we need somebody else to try and lift this squad. But it's the investment that's the issue. And if Jose has that, there's no reason why we can't win something. You just wonder what Jose we see on the TV cameras, whether that's the real him or not. Because you hear all these stories about him being a real man's man and very personable, but he always comes across, very kind of conceited and arrogant to the press. And you just wonder if it's if it's just all an act. You just don't know. I've never met the bloke, but I'm sure he's different with the players. So, yeah, I don't see why not. Go on, sorry.
Were you pleased then, Jamie, when he was appointed?
No, I texted my mate the day Pochettino was sacked. I just said, please God, not Jose. Anyone but Jose. I actually said, anyone but Jose.
But we need a trophy. He's going to deliver a trophy, surely.
But do you think it's the right way to do it? To take a squad that's getting old, that's tired, that's had the same people around them for years with no real fresh, kind of ideas from other players that have been coming in, no rotating, no kind of recycling of anything, to just then put in a manager who in the past, who hasn't won, he won the UEFA Cup and the League Cup with Man United. They are, as Brian was saying, they're the Class B in terms of the trophies, aren't they? Yes, we would love to see a trophy. In our recent history, we've not won anything, like you say, since 2008. But I just don't know if just getting Jose in is just sticking another Band-Aid over the top of the problem that is actually the squad. And that's exactly what Poch was saying. And so I was saying, back Poch or sack him. And he decided to, sack him. That was their decision. Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to get Jose in, 15 million quid a year, than it is to pump, 100 and odd into buying the players that we need or more. So I just think it's always with Levy and Enoch, it's always about what is the most frugal way of doing things. And I just don't think that it's not going to be a short-term success. He'll need time, but whether he'll get time, he'll have another season, as Alex was saying, another full season in charge. You've got to give him the chance. But I think we need a couple of years to fully refresh the squad. Well,
Jose always wins trophies in his first full season at a club. And of course, Spurs always win trophies with one at the end of the year, and that's next season. Both teams.
Best put your mortgage on it then. It's written in the stars, Chris, so we're fine. There's nothing to worry about.
Exactly. Jamie, we've had Champions League football, though, for the past 4 years, and it does look like, if we don't beat Manchester United tomorrow, that could be in doubt that we don't have Champions League football next season. How would you feel if Tottenham were playing in the Europa League?
I'd hate it. I hate the Sunday-Thursday thing. Going down. I love going to the games on Saturday and playing Tuesday, Wednesday. I honestly think if we don't get Champions League, we don't want Europa League. I know Brian's the opposite and kind of wants to see the games, but I actually think the amount of games you play in that hurt us, and it hurt Poch for a while. A couple of seasons that we were in it, and it's like you look at the teams that the year Leicester won the league, they were out early in the FA Cup. Fun enough, because we beat them, but they weren't in any other cup games, and they were just playing one game a week, and they had the same squad every week. And it was like, well, they can't keep winning again, but they did. They just kept going and going. And Chelsea, when Conte was in charge, they won it. They weren't in Champions League either. And so to win the league, what we've missed, getting from finishing third and second, is the fact that we've been hampered by the other competitions. Personally, that's what I think. So I feel that if we had a season away from Europe, it would actually give us time to build up momentum in the league. And I know we never seem to play well back to back coming out of Europe, and certainly on the Thursday games, we always seem to have a headache on the following Sunday when we were last there. So no, I don't want to go there. I don't want that to happen again.
Alex, let's come to you. When you said earlier about Jose Mourinho, what do you think that, why has that decision been made that Mourinho has been appointed Tottenham manager? Is it just to come in and win Tottenham an FA Cup or a League Cup? Or is it for the big prize? Is it for the Champions League or the Premier League? Because surely, if it is for a Champions League or Premier League, then surely we have to go out and spend big, don't we? Because when you look at the likes of Chelsea now spending multi-millions of pounds on Werner, these teams could overtake Tottenham and leave us behind, couldn't they?
I mean, it's quite simple why we got Jose in. Is Levy. Levy's wanted him for a long time. Alistair Gold said it, and he's this is his dream manager, Levy. Levy, I can't believe I'm saying it, because you think Levy and him working together don't work. You know what I mean? One don't like spending money, one wants to spend money. So it doesn't really work, but he wants to work with him because he was actually wanted it. So, I mean, I think it's just, he thinks that this is the man to get to make the best out of this squad. So, I think, hopefully for Levy's sake, this will work out for him. If it doesn't work out for him, and I'll tell you this as well, Newcastle haven't got their owner, they haven't got the billionaire owner, so Pochettino's not going to come there. But if Pochettino gets another job in the Premier League, there'll be pressure on him. Because if he does well, Tottenham fans will be looking at him and thinking, why did you get rid of him for this guy? So, I'm sure he will get a season. He might even get a season and a half, because he will want Mourinho to be successful. So whether Jose Sacramento is not an influence on him or not, he wants him to be successful. Levy will want him to be success. And I think it's a possibility we might get a Carabao Cup. I think it'd be maybe good for us to be in the Europa League, because if we get it, you might actually win the Europa League. It might be a very good thing. But I think everybody wants the big prizes. I think if we don't get the big prizes next season, we need to sell Kane. And I think I'm all right to say it, because, we haven't got money. We have not got money anymore. We've had to make a loan. We have to take a loan out because, we're losing money. So one of the big three, meaning Son, Ali, and Kane, you might have to sell them to, refresh the squad, because the squad definitely needs refreshing. One way or another, it needs refreshing. Even now, Liverpool, who are going to win the league are even saying they're going to release some players. They're Liverpool, who are doing really well at the moment, saying that they need to refresh their squad. Manchester City, who've done well the last 2 seasons, need to refresh their squad. And they've won the league twice with Guardiola. So what does that say to you? So, we'll have to see what happens. But I think, I mean, I think next season will be crucial, definitely crucial. And I will put my, I wouldn't put my money on it, but I'd say that, he might win a trophy next season, like a Carabao Cup, maybe even the FA Cup next season, or maybe the Europa League.
Will that put a smile on your face, Alex?
You know what? It's always good to be a Tottenham fan and enjoy it. You know what I mean? So I'll be happy as Lowy because last season being the Champions League final, I was in Dreamland last season. So I'm going to be happy. I'll be happy definitely.
Will you be singing Jose's name?
Yeah, I was singing. You know what I mean? It's like but we're a long way away from that, am I? You know what I mean? So, it's Tottenham at the end of the day. So, he's Tottenham. So let's just celebrate. It's Tottenham.
Exactly. Back to the club. Brian, let's come to you. We spoke to Jamie a minute ago about the lineup, possibly for tomorrow. Would you go along with Jamie's lineup, or would you swap and change players around? Because Jamie's lineup didn't put Lucas Moura in. He went for Bergwijn instead. What do you think the best 11 is?
I agree with what Jamie said for the most part. The only thing is I'm not a fan. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I'm not a fan, as many of my friends here know, of Harry Winks. I'd rather have Moura in the lineup and whoever takes Winks' place. But I'm not a huge fan of Harry. Seems like a lovely guy, but my name for him is Hull City Winks or Hull City Harry, because I don't think he's good enough to be in our first team. And so many times he gives the ball away, especially in the Champions League this season. As I said, great guy, good little player, but to me he's like a poor Scott Parker, and he's just not strong enough as a player to me. But yeah, for the rest of the team, I thought it was a good. He didn't mention Vertonghen. I don't know. Sanchez has to be playing well to get in the team for me ahead of Vertonghen. But you never know what you're going to get with Davidson. Sometimes he's fantastic, and other times he's a little bit of a weak link. The same can be said for Jan. But overall, I agree with what James said. Yeah, good team. So just not that much of a fan of Harry personally. Winks, that is.
Last question for you all. Score predictions for tomorrow night. Alex, let's start with you.
2-1 Tottenham.
2-1. Who do you reckon will get the goals?
Song will score. And maybe even Ndombele if he plays.
Interesting. Yes. Brian, what are you going to go with?
That was actually my prediction as well. 2-1, and I think Kane will score as well as Lucas Moura.
And Jamie?
I'm going to say 2-0. I've got a feeling that Jose's had time to organise them, and I think Kane will get both goals. I just think he's got a point to prove. Just got a funny feeling.
I'm going to go for 2-0 as well, and I think Sonny will get both the goals. So let's hope that we are all right and Spurs just get the 3 points and just climb up that league and get, or hopefully get that European place. Jamie, Alex and Brian, thank you very much for talking to me on this video. It's been great. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.